Yes, my man says he loves me. Never says he loves me not. Man, rush me good and touch me in the right spot. See, other guys that I've had, they tried to play that cool Mac shit, but every time they tried, I said, that's not it. You know who said that? Spinderella, the other member in the group. Pepa's here and we're in effect. Want you to push it back. Grooming my days and at night, working up a sweat. Come on, girl. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review. Here to discuss the brand new Lifetime biopic, Salt and Pepa. Now, I am a big hip hop fan. I love hip hop. I love music in general, but hip hop has got to be my favorite. So I know just how important these ladies are. Before we get into what this biopic needed to be and what it wasn't, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a second to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things Cheryl and Sandy. Guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me. Let's get into this movie. Now, I do want to start off with some positive because there is so much negative. So we're going to start off with some positives first. I do like that this is, this might be introducing someone to Salt and Pepa who has no clue who they are. And it does, give us insight to some of their personal business and, shines a light on some things that some people might not be aware of, like, them not being able to create their group name or them not even writing their own rhymes for a long time. So now that we've gotten, the positives out the way, let's get to the negative. Now, initially, I was really, really excited for this film. Who does not love Salt and Pepa? But if you know who they are, you know that they had a really, really long time rift between, if not only all three of them, then the two main, Cheryl and Sandy. It has not always been cool. Y'all remember Let's Talk About Pep on VH1? Like, that things were not always copacetic. So I was really interested to get some insight that, maybe we didn't get on, which I love, VH1 Behind the Music. Y'all remember that? Go watch that. Don't watch this movie. But yeah, for us to learn something new, it's always good to know more about these innovators. Salt and Pepa is a very important group. They were, the first real female hip hop group, the first female hip hop group to win a Grammy. They were there at the very brink of hip hop with everyone else, like your Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, LL Cool J, Run DMC, so many others. They are forefront runners. So you would think when they have an opportunity for a movie to be made that it would be immaculate. Now, when I saw that this movie was being brought to us through Lifetime, Aaliyah biopic, Lifetime, Whitney Houston biopic, Lifetime. Now, granted, I do feel like they got a little success with the Clark sisters. I did enjoy that. The production quality, the storytelling, it was pretty good there. But most of the time, it's a miss and not a hit. This was a miss. Now, as soon as this movie started, I was instantly distracted by the quality of the production of this film at all. It looked really cheap. There was so much green screen involved, and the production quality was just off. It's not what you would expect for someone so grand as a Salt and Pepa. It looked really cheap. Now, of course, the ladies who portrayed them, they're not, really, really well known. actors and actresses and so on. But they did, you know, a good enough job. I'm not saying that the ladies were bad. The acting wasn't, you know, terrible. But you did kind of tell that they didn't go out of their way to find someone of a likeness of a Salt and Pepper. They was just like, you know, we need one brown skin and one lighter skin who wasn't, you know, Soup, because, you know, Salt was pretty light. And, you know, hey, as long as those color demographics are there, we're not worried about much else. All right, you know, cool. We don't ask for much. The wigs. The quality of the wigs, the costuming, just everything. It just looks so cheap. And you can get away with that. If the story quality is there, bump the CGI, bump the production, bump the acting. If the story is thrilling and keeping the audience engaged, you can be as trifling as you want to with the production. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. I don't know who was in charge of design or, you know, production, but I just want you to know that throwing graffiti on everything does not equate to, oh, this is the 80s. We're going to throw a couple of Kangos around, a couple of dookie rope chains. 80s. No, you have to set the scene for us. And a lot of the wigs, if they weren't, you know, just completely off brand, they look very current. Like when we start and we meet, you know, we initially meet Pepa and she has the little hot pink situation happening. That looked very Nicki, very now. And it was just like, okay. The quality was all over the place. It was horrible. It wasn't consistent. For what how can you have bad quality and the quality of your film be inconsistent? Like, why do we have certain looks where, you know, we're still supposed to be 80s, maybe early 90s, and the ladies look like they're in the early 2000s, and we're going from short hair to long hair to asymmetrical to a little pop of color to like, oh yeah, this is a different scene. We forgot to change the wig back. What? Don't do that. You in my bit. Don't do that. Now, once we get into the story and you really know more about Salt and Pepper and you see the dynamics of how they started, you know, the community college, the meeting, the Sears call center, get into the call center. We have Martin Lawrence, Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper all working at the same call center at the same time. Just to come up off along with Herbie Lovebug. Like, if you're not familiar with him, the, you know, happy rap of the 80s, he was touching everything. Like, he was a super producer of the time. He was like a Neptune, Pharrell, Timbaland of this time. Like, he was big shit then. You have all these people cultivating, coming up together. This could have been a massive story. And it was just kind of downplayed. Like, I just was... just don't even let me get into that. I'm just thinking about Kid and I'm thinking about the hair and everybody's high top just looking like it wasn't like right here, like the high top, like this was their natural hair. You can see where their hair met and the wig met. Like it was off. This had the potential to be really good. It would have been really nice to get, you know, just more insight. Everything is really rushed. The friendship is rushed. Hey, I'm Sandy. Hey, I'm Sharp. You want to rap? You want to join this group? Bitch, we trying to rap. Can we get into knowing, you know, more about their personal life, their beginnings? Girl, I want to see, hey, I was a little girl with a side ponytail. Like, no, you clearly see, which is fine. These ladies had absolutely no ambition to be rappers beforehand. And this was something, you know, put on Salt by her boyfriend at the time, you know, Herb. And, you know, hey, if they can do it, we can do it. We just trying to get out of Queensbridge. Like, this is what we're trying to do. Or Queens or... But all right. We're following. Very fast paced, we're following. But it just seems like they are going out of their way to just not really tell their story, but just to set the dynamic of Salt good, Peppa bad. Like, Salt church, Peppa hoe. Like, I don't want to say it like that, but they were really heavy-handed on portraying that, you know, Peppa's kind of loose. She always with a man. While on the other hand, it was like good and bad, devil, angel. Like, they just split them straight down the middle. Like, I was just like, there has to be more than this. Like, on the when they first, you know, discuss rapping, and they have, you know, because we're going to a strip club, because, you know, Peppa, she had to go to the strip club because Peppa's loose. Girl, you crazy. You need to loosen up. Like, oh, don't even get me started on those 80s, like, accents that were happening. Yo, like, yeah, like, we rapping. I'm down. Like, it was not genuine. It was not connecting. I did not feel like I was in 80s New York and I was really, no. It was just really forced. Like, y'all, the ladies weren't bad. It was just some things weren't, you know what I mean? But we just get more into, you know, trying to get to know them in this car ride home, and everything's just like rushed into that conversation just in that one single car ride. Like, we couldn't spread this out over a course. I'm like, you guys had 2 hours. There are some things that you can do into. I do really wish that they put this in the hands of a BET and we got like one of those new editions. That new edition, ain't nobody touching that new edition BET biopic. As long as it was consistent. They touched on everything. They got all parts, and we're going to get to, you know, including all parts of your group. They got all those things there, and it was so good. This was so lacking, and it's just CGI rain, the green screen rain. We couldn't afford rain. So while they're going out their way to create this day and night situation between Salt and Peppa, cool, you do see that Salt is very, you know, not controlled by her boyfriend, but there's a little bit of heavy-handedness on his part. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to say. This is how you're going to look. This is what I want. This is what's popping right now. They had like pretty much zero control beforehand, you know, in the beginning of their group, because this was his idea and he was, you know, putting most of the things up front, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Now, the character that was playing Salt's boyfriend, I liked him here. He was very much giving me a good looking, well, not, I don't want to say good looking because Kevin Hart isn't bad looking, but he was giving me like Kevin Hart 2.0. Y'all saw it? Maybe it was just me. I was getting that from him. And the guy who portrayed Herbie, he was very good. I was like, why am I enjoying the men who are portraying the side characters of their boyfriends, Aki, Tretch, and Herbie, more than I'm enjoying the ladies? Like, they really, you know, Herbie was getting it. Like, I was really here for it. But you saw that she was very much following, and you saw that she felt like it was up to her to have Peppa's back. Because not only are we're not in control of our look, what we're doing, what time, he's running everything, production, the cash, the deals. And of course, he wants to pull his girlfriend in, Salt, to go, well, you know, this is our thing. We created this. You see that he instantly has like this little disdain thing happening with Pepa, because I really feel like Pepa kind of saw Herbie for what he was, you know, him and his wondering eye. I was just waiting. I'm like, how many hints we gonna get at his wondering eye before we see him get it popping with somebody? Like, Lord, how many times these eyes gonna wonder? But you see more than anything that, you know, he like, she's a B character. This is about us. But you see very early on, Salt is very adamant about, she makes me better. She is a part of this group. You and I didn't work because we tried to do this. She is just important here as you and I. And right about the time where, you know, we've gone through, you know, little performances and throwaway scenes like Pepa having a cold at a party and trying to, you know, kind of portray her as loose and talking to man after man after man. It is just, I was like, we're gonna get into that. And we get to, you know, finally them getting a legitimate record deal after, you know, the woes of trying to get put on, our first single on the radio, us promoting ourselves, cool, us being kind of sideswiped by a pimp. I was like, oh, y'all couldn't, we weren't, you know, practicing any subtlety with that pimp and his gold tooth and his fur coat. I give you a copy. Oh, you gonna get a copy of what? With his flash cube. That's the most 80s this movie got, when he pulled out that camera and that flash cube was sitting on it. I was like, look at that damn flash cube. Okay. But I like how they just glossed over. I like how they just glossed over Salt getting punched in the face. Like, that, we just not even gonna talk about them getting their ass whooped outside in the park. Like, we just not. I just want to know what Pepa was. But at this point, you know, they've gotten to the point of, okay, we've put in work. We're trying to get this record deal. And we're about to get it. And Herb take this moment to, you know, kind of undercut Pepa. We don't need to call her. We don't need to include her on these deals. I like how the money was discussed, because I like some things in this film. I like how the money was discussed, and you see how excited they were to get that advance of 5,000 and 9,000. Oh, we can get 4 this time, and next time we can get 9,000. And they just thought that they were on top of the world, versus now where you hear people getting, you know, millions and millions of dollars in advances, and it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy how far people have come just on the come up of hip hop. But you see how in the forefront they were, that an advance at that time was $4,000 or $5,000. But he takes that moment to go, you know, no. What are you calling her for? This is me and you. And when Salt goes, you may be writing everything, you may be producing everything, you might even be really just putting us on, but she makes me better. She is just as much a part of this group as I am. Of course I'm going to include her. And at that moment, I was like, this is in the film. Y'all heard this come out of whoever's mouth. Y'all heard it in the script, and no one thought of Spin. Let's get into how they are treating Spinderella as if she is just absolutely obsolete in this group. Now, as the movie starts, and you know, we're starting, because I do know something about Salt and Pepper. I do know initially she was not a member of the group. Spin was not always there. And I do know that they did have another Spinderella before. Of course, LaToya. Somebody named LaToya, because you know, they didn't give Spin no speaking lines in this movie. Like, I do know that she was a latecomer. Not so late that it was just obsolete, because she has been there for 30 plus years. But for her to say that in that scene, like, it pissed me off, because I'm like, you're saying what you are currently doing to Spin. And her was all, you know, well, this says that. And, you know, on paper, technically, it's just me and you. We're doing all the work. And you have, you know, interviews and stuff being given now, right now, and in the past. Well, you know, on paper, Spinderella is just the DJ. She's not in Salt and Pepper. Well, excuse me, because when I watch the videos, when I listen to the songs, if you're going to a concert, she's there with you. She's rapping on songs. She's in every photo shoot. She has to be on time for these things just as much as you do. If you have to be on the road, she has to be there with you. Like, she was a very adamant part of the group. I always thought Spin was the cutest. You know, no shade. I always thought she was really cute. I used to love Spin. Like, and then once, you know, we got, you know, further out of the 80s, they put her on, and, you know, because it wasn't about the DJ anymore. So instead of just, you know, asking her out, as they could have, who knows with how spicy they are about it, she was rap. She was put on songs. She was, you know, in the dance routines. Like, she was there. So to see this whole movie and to act like she's not, I was like, don't even include her. Let's not even talk about her. If you're going to have 2 versions of Spin show up and together they have maybe 2 lines, why'd you even put her there? To get, you know, the glances in the back from the DJ, like, let's keep the crowd. We ain't gonna get into those stages, those productions on these little stages that they had here. The stages stayed the same size from the 80s to the like, no progression. The green screen audience, hey, oh, trash. It was trash. But why disrespect her like that? Like, I just don't understand. I can't wait till her book comes out, because I just don't understand why the split is just so like, There's always been like, it's us and then it's her, when she's been there the whole time. How can you be with someone for over 30 years and still treat them like the other? I just wish that they went more into depth with this movie. Like, we got that little brief, you know, because even the thing, you know, with Pepa's scalp being burnt, and, you know, that's how, you know, the asymmetrical haircut happened, you know, for the Push It video. But, like, which is iconic now, like, that's the Salt and Pepper. Like, that's something we already know. Like, let's get it. It's, especially with these ladies being executive producers, I feel like they only wanted to go so far. And I just feel like if you were going to give us the story Give us everything. Let us see you at your worst and at your best, because they were going out of their way to like create that split. Like, it really bothered me how much they tried to. And I'm like, damn, y'all, the exec Pepa, you saw this and you were like, yeah, that was me. Maybe it was, I don't know. But they was like creating this holier than thou ring around Salt, and it was just like, I remember watching those videos. I really, you know, go back and watch those interviews, especially like those videos. I love how they kind of portrayed Pepa here as being, you know, overtly sexual and out. And when I remember, you know, watching those videos, but, you know, they have, you know, Salt, I'm at church. Girl, huh? I'm at church. What you want? I'm at church. I'm writing these verses. Then I'm going to church. I'm going to church. And I remember the videos. I'm like, I always remembered Salt being the really, really overtly sexy one. Like the dances, the moves, the stomach, the abs, the cleavage, I remember Salt doing a lot of that. Now, most of the one that I remember being the most covered is actually Spin. But I'm like, girl, you was naked too. You was there. You was naked. Don't even get me started on these clothes. Like, once we got to the scene where things, you know, turned neon, and it was just like, what the hell is going on? They made sure to hit, you know, like key points, like, okay, this is the 80s. We got to make sure, you know, we show them in the push it with the jacket and the bam and the bah. Why? If we wanted to see them do videos, we would just look at their videos on YouTube. We want backstory. We want to know about their life. We want to know more about those siblings, those moms, the dads, the come up, the Herbie, the cheating, which was kind of touched on. Like, I guess it was, I feel like it was kind of trying to be portrayed like, oh, he was cheating the whole time. But like, and you see how everything was set up here to favor them. Specifically Salt, because you saw that it was kind of like trying to be really heavy-handed on, she's been kind of silenced and pushed to the side her whole life, not being able to, you know, make decisions herself and really do what she wanted to do. It was always, you know, about what Herbie wanted to do, about what Salt wanted to do. But I was kind of with what Pepa wanted to do, but I was kind of with Pepa. And girl, you know, be that as it may, I've been here with you. I was with you. We've done this together. We literally came up together. So to kind of, you know, put it all off on Pepa to go, no, this was all, you know, for you guys. I never wanted to, I need to find myself. I was sure, of course you need to do that, but don't turn this into that secular music. Like, girl, you was here making this with us. If you didn't want to, because for a minute, Herbie was writing everything, you know, those first 2 albums, and you see he kind of was going wayward and cheating and left them to do those things on his own, on their own. And you see her coming to the forefront to, you know, write those great woman empowerment songs that we, you know Salt and Pepa for. And also some really, you know, sexual songs, sexual videos. And it was not hitting. It was not. For a lot of the movie, we do, you know, we don't really get to know a whole lot, you know, about their personal lives. Well, you know, we do deal with the music and the production and how we came up with that. Cool. Was it explored a whole lot? No. This movie was really shallow to me. But we do, you know, get into their love lives. Okay, cool. Cheating. Herbie. I stayed. Okay. Up until he had a whole nother baby. I like at some points, like, we're on our way 90s. Herbie still had a high top, then we go back to him pre-dress, high top dress. Like, get it together. Where is the person on production that goes, no, he had a gold chain on right here, let me put this on to go along with the shot? Nobody was checking for nothing. We were like, we're shooting whatever's on his head. That's what we're doing. We don't care what that looks like an early 2000s outfit, that looks like a current outfit. Nope, we're shooting, we're keeping it going. But we get into Pepa, and there is no depth there. And I really hate how her previous relationship was portrayed, as well as her relationship with Tretch. Now, in the previous one, y'all, the damn love scene, because, you know, we're not going to see Salt be secular and have sex with anybody. We left the love scenes to Pepa. But child, that level, we're floating and we're falling and we're rolling and it's the glitter. I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm sorry. It really cracked me up. I'm sorry. I got a headache. It really did crack me up. I didn't understand what was going on with those damn love scenes. But you see her, you know, consistently keep making the wrong choices in men. And, you know, things just kind of increasing with how bad they are. Now, Tretch as well as Pep have been very vocal about their relationship and the abuse and this and verbal and physical. And I'm just like, if we weren't going to take it there, why even show it? Couldn't we just mention Tretch in conversations and just focus on them the way we didn't mention Spin? Why couldn't we do that to Tretch or even the other guy she had a baby with before? Because it's just like, and I'm not saying at all that I want to see a woman abused, that I wanted him to punch her in the face. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if we're going to go into depth as much as it's been documented, the toxic relationship that they had, and the most we got was, you know, it was a kind of a build-up. Him kind of, you know, being a little, oh, y'all, did y'all see her bungee jump? Can you handle all this crazy? And bungee jump into the green screen and the CGI. And then we were in the bed and we were rolling again. But they didn't. We kind of, you know, we got him throwing a bottle and calling her, you know, obscenities. And it's just like, and she's, he's yelling. And it's supposed to be really intensifying the film because you're supposed to be, you know, really feeling for Pepa and feeling, you know, for this battered woman. And they didn't explore it a lot. I'm not saying that we needed to see physical abuse to believe like this, because we know that these things happen. We're aware of all of that. But it was just so, it was giving me Disney Channel fight. Like, it was just, and just because you put a couple of braids and a padlock on a chain on somebody does not make them Tretch. I was like, y'all not finna play Tretch like this. Y'all not finna play Naughty by Nature like this. Y'all not finna play them like this. They're a part of hip hop too. I was like, how long they gonna show Tretch in this padlock and these chains? Like, I know that was his signature for a little while, especially when they started off early before they was, you know, really making money. Like, I'm gritty, I'm hard. Nigga, I don't got no gold chain on. I got a padlock on and a chain. But like, come on. I was like, when are we gonna take that off? But even the guy who was portraying him for the short time that he was on screen, I was getting Tretch off of him. And I couldn't say that for the two ladies. Like, I couldn't say like I was really getting Pepa, I was really getting Salt. They had their moments, but they were few far and in between. And most of the time I just felt like I was looking at two ladies in costume, because, you know, most of the clothes look like they were bought, you know, Amazon. When you go look up, hey, Salt and Pepa Halloween costume, that's what it looked like. So we get more into them getting, you know, more independence into the films and continuing to kind of show the ladies going in different paths. And it was kind of enough for me to be a little invested. Like, I didn't cut the movie off, but it wasn't just like, oh my God, this is so good, I can't wait to see what happens next. It was just like, we kind of rushed through these labors out of nowhere. Oh, I'm pregnant, I'm having your baby. I love the little actress. I'm pregnant, I'm keeping it. I was like, oh, okay. And then we were in labor and we're talking, and like, all cheap, all look cheap. And then boom, we're back, and Gavin and this and that, and I'm with him and I'm not, and I'm with Herb and I'm pregnant. You didn't tell him. Like, her, you know, on national TV, not acknowledging her new man as her baby's father, that could have been a big scene, but it was just looked off like, you ain't say nothing, you, boom, cut. Saw in labor, pregnant, having a baby. It was just like, why are we rushing? Were you guys on a time crunch? Is this a COVID movie? What's the rush? These ladies are iconic. They deserve something much bigger than a 2-3 hour shit show of a film. Why are we rushing, jumping from scene to scene to scene, and then you get the little moniker, we in the Bronx, 1999. but why are we moving? And then we get our beeline stuff. Let's talk about the way, well, no. First, let's address, them kind of trying to put them off and display them as the empowering female rappers that they were, because they were. And they did kind of discuss their music a little bit, and oh, you guys are discussing, the AIDS epidemic, and you guys are the first to do this, you guys are which was great. That was good, but it wasn't explored enough. Like, they were big on that. They were so big on, express yourself. You gotta be you and only you. They were big on that, and that led all the way up to, if I want to take a guy home with you tonight, it's none of your business. And if she, it was all about what you wanted to do as a woman, not giving a damn what nobody else had to say. We got a little bit of that, and then it was just like a throwaway. And then we got into a montage. That montage of Shoop. And we went from wig to costume to bam, asymmetrical. It's the 80s. Bam, Pep with these braids, this braid wig that she kept on for an hour long film. Bam, more braids. Bam, early 2000s colored wig. What the hell is this? What are you doing? You can't do that. If you want to give us empowering, we need to see a little bit more than, a couple of shots of their videos, a few shots here of them kind of discussing stuff on the mock Arsenio Hall show, a few, shots of them, of Sandy wobbling in with that fake stomach. We're getting a new deal, and this is what we want to do. Either you can roll with it or get rolled over. Sisters, no. You had to build up to that. We have to see more than that. The most that they did here of any quality was show us that throughout everything, Salt and Pepa had a really strong bond. They said, fuck Spinderella. But they had a really strong bond. It did that. But then we get into things like some of the trauma that was discussed in this film, and I really didn't like how it was handled. Now, we do get into, abuse from the men and stuff like that, whether it's, sexual, physical, and you're not going to have no sex with me. I want to have, oh, Lord, I was just like, oh, gosh. Herbie and the cheating, and she's staying, and Pep's being physically. And I'm just like, this is not how I care to see abuse being handled. It was like everything was being taken really lightly. Okay, real, whatever. He's doing me bad. He's cheating on me. I'm not leaving until years later. Oh, girl. And it was trying to, make us invested and make us go hoorah, because Salt or Pepper going, girl, look how strong I am. I finally left him. Girl, I stayed all that time, but he taught me everything he knows. Girl, we gonna blow up. What? No, this is not okay. And please don't depict it to be okay. It was not. And then we briefly hear about, things like Pepa, cutting herself and being, I'm like, that's serious. That's something serious that people deal with all the time, for you to just kind of gloss over it in a car ride. Yeah, girl, I was doing that. Yeah, it was rough. What? Elaborate. Talk about how we dealt with those things, what made you go there to want to do those things. Give us, those warning signs to, or this is how I brought myself out. Don't just bring them up and not deal with them. Or even that scene at the very, damn near the end, with her kind of being kind of done with everything and not being able to kind of make it as a solo artist in the early 2000s, and about to, cut. I was like, and then we just cut away. Don't do that. Don't do that. And let's not even get me started on Salt in this, what I believe is an eating disorder that we never explored, of her engorging food and throwing it up. We just had those things sprinkled in there like it was okay. They weren't mentioned. They weren't brought up. We didn't see how she dealt with those things. We just were supposed to know that, oh, there's just so much trauma and stress in her life, and this is how she's dealing with it. But then we get to the end and, kind of the group falling apart. And It's so rushed, it's not even funny. I was looking like, at the time, I was like, well, damn, we got like 15 minutes left and they're still in, you know, the 90s. Like, how are we going to get all the way into the now? Where are we? Because, you know, I'm thinking like we going to go through the breakup. We going to go through, you know, salt. I want, when my people say, and my auntie say, stone. My cousin say, I promise the stone. The whole stone, nothing but. I thought we were gonna get into, you know, salt. It ain't. We didn't. Come on, stone. We didn't get into any of that. We were completely, bam. We're gonna throw all that out, or even get into, which I guess with them being executive producers, they weren't gonna touch on that. Just kind of what physically was going on with Pepa, because I always thought she was really beautiful to want to go under the knife and change herself and change her body and turn into what we see now. Because it started, you know, around that time after they broke up, and we kind of, you know, started to see things being tweaked. Like, we didn't touch on any of that. Even that little brief, you know, fallout that they even had with Spin. Not that we were gonna do that, because Shorty ain't even get no lines. Horrible. None of that. We just go through, you know, them finally, you know, getting a little freedom, and we go to court with Herb, and you smart. Like, Herb very much in the courtroom giving us DJ Khaled. You smart. I'm proud of you. Okay. Thank you. We're going to skip that. Oh, the money's kind of slowing up. Oh, Pepa's still loose, having parties. Now a party ain't a party till it's spraying all through wind. With the that's not their song. But yeah, we just partying, and we slowly, you know, start to see them drift apart. And then we just get to, I'm like, y'all use Mario Van Peebles for this. Mario, don't. Why you in this? He's the preacher, and, you know, somebody will beat you. Then we use food, and it was supposed to be, you know, dynamic, and like, oh, the preacher was speaking to her at that moment. And we have, you know, Tretch yelling in the background, and it's just like, oh, this pressure coming down on Salt. Like, this is how we're gonna end this? And this massive phone call, and I've been telling you, trying to talk to you for a while, I can't do this, which we did see, but it was just like, we didn't really see you talk to. We saw that, you know, that brief conversation in these hotel rooms that we kept seeing that looked exactly the same. Like, the sets were trash, but, you know, we weren't, you know, feeling like, oh, she just on her way out, y'all. She been just out of this for years. We only seen her wanting to perform and produce and write and elongate things for so long that it was just, boom, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to, you know, follow God and get more into my Christianity and not sing these songs. And okay. Well, that was done. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. You know, and that was it. And then boom, it's 2005. I was like, what the? That was it. It was 2005, and we jumped back into these hip hop honors, and the ladies arriving, and we're, you know, it's supposed to be intensified, because it's like, at that moment, all these years of them not, you know, only not performing or not seeing each other, they couldn't, you know, even do anything solo. And it's just like, I mean, it's cute, but we didn't age the women at all. In 2000, it was just, we was sexy, still looking 20 in 2005. Not that the ladies ever look bad. Still look great now. But it was just like, and I love how Herb and Trish was in the audience. Like, we just left off him cheating, trying to take their money, had another baby. We broke up after all these years trying to hold on to our relationship, but I'm rocking with you at these hip hop awards. Yeah, Trish, we just had a whole scene 10 minutes ago of you calling me a biatch, trying to whoop my ass, and we got a divorce, but we rocking with you at these hip hop. It was just so, it was, I was like, okay. And it looked like a lot of the production budget went into that final moment. Like, because, honey, that was costume changes and dance routines and sets and real audience members. And it was like, boom, Sword, I missed you. It's like we never left. Wonder Twin powers activate. High five. Credits roll. This film, was supposed to be so much more and should have been so much more, and it's really sad that it wasn't. I did enjoy the film for what it was. Would I watch it again? No. Would I recommend that you watch it? If you guys understand where I'm coming from and you felt the same way about this movie that I did, drop down below and comment that. Tell me about the things that bothered you in this movie. Tell me about some of the things you missed, because I know I didn't get everything because there was so much, so much wrong and not enough right with this movie. But tell me about those things. Just flood the comments, because my expectations weren't like really, really high for this film. Because, you know, even when you see the trailer, it's just kind of like, that's not a massive production happening. But there's a difference between quality and quantity. Like, you still could have had a quality film. Actresses, bad production, and all. If the story was there, we could have gotten invested anyway. It just wasn't. And it feels like such a letdown film for two. I'm going to say two because they just didn't. Three. It's three of y'all. It's three. Y'all was y'all big thing. Because this movie's not even about y'all no more. This is about, well, where the hell is Spinderella? This is what the main topic is. Where's Spin? That was such a missed opportunity and so like selfish for them to just X her out. But yeah, you guys drop down and let me know what you thought about this film. Let me know if you loved it. If I'm tripping, I like those comments too. I see you guys for my next video. Bye.